coming on. Oh, hi, everybody. Okay, so I'm back. I'm not really a videographer. My husband, Tom, is helping me right now. Say hi, Tom.
Hola.
Okay.
¿Cómo estás?
So let me show you the ingredients that we have in our Asian soup. And by the way, I want to give all credit to Joe Gallo. So Joe, if you're watching this, thank you. When we moved back from Nicaragua, he was living in our house, and he taught me how to make a version of Asian soup. And this is a little bit different, but it definitely came from him. All right. So let me just give you some full disclosure. I am no professional chef, and I am no like Instagram person. So I never cook like this. The way that I have set this up, this is for you. This is for sure.
Yes, that is definitely not.
So I don't want you getting some unhealthy expectations for yourself that this is the way you need to start your meal.
Instagram worthy right here.
So,
Instagram worthy.
and it's not even Instagram worthy. But I have it all set up for you so I can show you what's going to be going in our soup. First of all, I'm going to be starting off by putting in some sesame seed oil. So instead of using regular oil, sesame seed oil has this nice nutty flavor, and it's the base of a lot of Asian dishes. So I'm just going to kind of swig that in the bottom there. Another disclosure, I have no idea how much of stuff I'm using, okay?
Yeah, and she never does, so
I never do. I never measure.
probably a tablespoon and a half.
Oh no, there's way more than that.
All right.
Yeah. Probably a quarter to a half of a cup that I just put in.
Okay, she and I are going to argue over that.
That's at least a quarter of a
Okay,
cup.
she's probably right. It's probably
All
a
right.
quarter cup. We're going to let
Thank
that
you.
go.
All
We're
right.
going to let that go.
So anyway, and as I cook, I'm going to be adding more to it. All right. What I'm going to be adding to my oil base is my spices. I'm going to be adding garlic. Garlic is the most important thing that I cook with. Okay.
Yes.
And in this climate, of course, we need things that are healthy, that are going to help us boost our immune system, and garlic is that.
#1 rated spice in the world.
That's
for
right.
killing bacteria.
Now, this garlic right here, this garlic device, or whatever we call this, an apparatus, this is called a garlic press. Maybe you haven't seen one. It is so important in my life, this garlic press, that when we moved to Nicaragua, I brought it with me. Okay? So, there are lots of things I did not bring to Nicaragua, but this garlic press I brought, because look how easily I'm able to just crush this garlic right into there, okay?
got
It's
one
just
down there.
fantastic. And thank you. And when you do use a garlic press, make sure you get a good garlic press. Don't waste your money on the cheap stuff. Spend a good $20 on it. Because
And I think
it's
that
worth
one
it.
is
I got this at Wegmans.
that's a Wegmans one?
Yeah, I got
Okay.
this at Wegmans. The second thing that I'm going to be putting into this after I'm done with the garlic, and I can always come back to the garlic, but that's a lot of garlic. You guys see how much garlic I'm putting in?
She has no idea. She
I have
wasn't
no
even
idea.
counting.
That's right. But I'm guessing,
Someone in the comments will comment they counted.
I am guessing that this is going to be an entire head of garlic, at least, that I'm putting in here. Okay? It's awesome for the flavor, and we're also killing bacteria and virus and all
Yep.
sorts of things.
It's my favorite.
All right. Something that people I've seen on Facebook recently, and I've seen a lot of people,
Yep.
because you know how reliable Facebook is. But I have read a lot that ginger really, really helps in boosting your immune system.
Absolutely.
And Asian food uses ginger a lot. So I have ginger coming into this meal. I've already crushed it up for you.
And how did you do that? Similarly with the
Yes,
press?
I'm going to show you how I did it. Let me just dump all of this in here. Okay. This delicious ginger is going to go right in the bottom there to cook up.
What do you think that was? 2 tablespoons?
I'll show you exactly what that was. That was about that much ginger right there. Okay? And I'm going to show you how I prepare it. So what you do is you break off the piece that you need, okay? And I have a piece broken off over here already to show you. And the best way to peel it is with a spoon. All right?
Really?
So I take my spoon, and I'll do it right in here. This is I'll talk about this in a minute. But I take my spoon, and I simply just go down.
You're just scraping it off.
I'm just scraping it off. A peeler doesn't work as well. A spoon is the best thing you can use. All right? And you can see how easily that skin comes right off. And even though the skin comes off real easily, there's still a lot of work ahead of you with ginger. So ginger's a lot of work, but it's so worth it because it's just so incredibly good for you, and it adds a flavor that you can't replace. You just can't replace the flavor of
Are you
ginger.
going to do it in that?
Well, what I then do is I take this. It would be easier in this, okay? But I did it in this little thing, and this is like all broken and lame, so you know, you can see I don't do cooking shows regularly.
Just a grater.
It's just a grater, and then you
Small
take
grater.
your ginger and you grate it, trying not to get your
Knuckles.
skin. Yep, exactly, or the
But
tips
don't
of your
worry,
fingers.
we are cooking this, so any bacteria from her skin will be cooked off.
That's right. All right, so you just do that, and then when you turn it over, you can see it's landing in there, and it's also collecting
amazing.
there. It smells awesome, and look how juicy it is.
Yeah.
Right. See all the juice that comes out of that. Okay. So yeah. So that's ginger. I'm not gonna take the time to finish that off for you because I have what I need. And so I'll just dump that in. Notice I'm cooking with my fingers. Good thing that we're gonna be boiling this because
And
it will
also
kill
it's
all
for
the
your
bacteria.
family.
That's
We're all
right.
sharing it.
It's just for my family. All right, the next thing that I have to put in here for flavor is going to be onion.
Onions also, I like number 3 or 4 on the antibacterial scale for natural products.
And so how do I cut my onions? I almost cut my finger off. How do I cut my onions? However I want. It doesn't really matter. And you can cut them however you want too. I just make it easy and I throw it in there, right? Because it's really just the flavor.
And also some of our kids don't like onions. They like the flavoring, but they don't like. So the bigger the piece is, the easier it is for them to pick it out. But they
Right.
still get the benefit of the flavor and the nutritional benefit.
Right. So, those of you out there judging me right now for my chopping skills, shame on you.
Hey, she set the bar really low.
We're keeping this real. This is real life cooking, okay? All right, so the next things that you're gonna see I'm gonna add in here, I'm gonna add mushrooms. So this is what I'm talking about, leftovers, right? I had leftover mushrooms that you can see they're like slightly turning. Good enough for me. I don't need it to be perfect. And so I didn't want to waste my mushrooms, so that was kind of the inspiration for this meal. Oh boy, I need to use those mushrooms, right? I also had some in my protein that's going in the soup. I had some leftover tofu because we had tofu for dinner the other day. I'll teach you how to make that someday. And this is just a tiny bit of tofu, but I don't want to waste it, you know? And so I'm just chopping up my tofu into little pieces, and I will just throw that in the soup in just a little bit. Not right now, I'll add that later, okay? Some other proteins that I'm gonna be adding that you'll see later are gonna be the beef and the eggs. A lot of Chinese soups, or Asian soups in general, do take egg. You just crack it in there, but I'll show that to you later. This we're gonna have fresh on top of it when we're done, and I'll show that to you later. And over here, this is
And she will be washing this all.
Oh, yes.
By the way, after she's touched the raw meat.
of course. There's my daughter. We're making a video.
For?
Just in general to cheer people up. So my kids are giving me looks now. All right. So
Be careful, Sammy, or I'll put you on it.
we're gonna add some fresh vegetables in there because we want this to be a power pack, nutritious meal. As I turn this on, and let me just wash my fingers from the beef that I touched. Oh no, there's dishes in the sink. Okay.
I didn't
let's-
show it.
Okay, good. As I turn this on, this one right over here, I'm gonna just talk to you briefly about this. So one thing that I always do when I'm cooking, when I'm chopping up celery, when I'm chopping up onions, when I'm chopping
Peppers.
up carrots, peppers, really any vegetable, my parsley, the stems from that, or cilantro,
Skins, everything.
everything. I don't waste it. I take it and I put it aside, and then everything that I have, that's the peels, that's the butts, that's all of it, I put it in a freezer bag and I put it in the freezer. And when I make stock, which is what this is, I use it in there to add nutrients. They say that in the peel of the onions and the peel of the garlic, there's a lot of tannins that are really good for you.
And who told you about that trick? Do you remember?
You? I did not remember, but I'm
Oh,
guessing
yes.
from his
on
face.
Facebook. I found it on Facebook. I said, don't throw
That's
that stuff
right.
away.
And you know how reliable Facebook is.
Wow. True.
All right, so what I have here, this is frozen stock, okay? Ahead of time, and I'll show you this maybe another time how I make my stock. This is bone broth. And I make it ahead of time. I take out my giant pot and I put in all sorts of delicious stuff, including the leftovers of these vegetables and
Carcasses.
bones and carcasses. Whenever I get a Wegmans chicken, I save the
Rotisserie
carcass.
chicken.
Yep, the rotisserie chicken.
Yep.
And then I also buy, well, I'll share that another time. But anyway, this is super nutritious. So I like to add at least this amount to each one of my soups. Now I'm also going to be adding other broth to that in a little bit, but I definitely want some of my bone broth for nutrition because we all need to boost our immune system right now. I'm gonna wait to put this in because I want my garlic to just kind of get cooked a little bit. My onions to get cooked a little bit.
Wish you could smell this.
Because we want the flavors from the ginger and from the garlic and from the onion to literally infuse into the oil. And then that's going to infuse into the broth, all right?
Oh, it's
I
amazing.
really don't know what I'm talking about, but it sounds good.
Well, the word infuse is definitely probably 100 point on Scrabble. So.
And you know what? I think I want a little bit more oil, so I'm just
So
gonna
she put in, looks like she
jump
put in about 3.2 more tablespoons in there.
All right, so we're gonna pause right now, and then we'll come back when it's time to continue.